Oh snap! What's good? What's good?
Hi. How's it going?
Yeah,
I'm just trying to fix my camera. What's
yeah,
up? I feel like I'm
nothing
all up
much.
in it right now.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's been one of those days. So listen, everybody. Y'all
What's
already
good,
know
everybody? Look, we got 242 people up in here. What's up?
245. Oh, is she growing? Yeah.
247. Come
Yo,
on,
so
Bennett. Come on.
when I go on Instagram Live, I notice I have a lot of people watching, but then I'll be looking at the comments and they be looking like bots sometimes. Though, you ever had that problem?
Nah, I know everybody that follow me. I don't let people follow me if I don't know who they are. I'm dead
Oh, okay.
ass. I'm so dead ass. And the
I'll
minute
be,
if
I'll
I
be,
do happen to see one, I end up deleting it. I don't like that because it's not organic. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
they're not gonna contribute to what I'm doing at all.
yeah. See, my profile is open to the public. Like, I think I might privatize mine for a little bit.
You just have to monitor who comes in every day. That's a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
work though.
yeah, yeah. It is. Yeah. So like, I'm kind of drained because by the way, I
I
have a
feel your energy. Your energy is here. I need you to bring your energy up a
yeah,
little bit. We
yeah.
gonna be sitting here like, yeah, so what's up?
So listen, nah. So we had a food. We give out food every week during the pandemic and stuff because people um we I live in the food desert, so people need food and all that stuff like that. So like I had to pick up 710 chickens to give out to people. We fed like 2,500 people today. Like it was
Wow.
crazy. So I'm gonna pick my energy up. But listen, real quick.
Wow.
I'm
That's
I'm
awesome. That's so
Thank you,
awesome.
thank you. Like
How
I'm
often do
on.
you do that every week?
Yeah, once a week. Well,
Wow.
the one that I show up to is once a week, but the organization I work with, we do it. We have like four food drive distributions every week, especially since COVID hit. Like this,
That's
it's
what's
been
up.
crazy. Yeah, yeah.
Hi,
So,
Rena.
oh, there's some of your people's coming in.
I think so.
Cool, cool. So it's an honor to have you on here.
Thank you
Um,
for having me.
yeah, yeah. I figured it's pretty cool to have a female perspective on some things.
Uh-oh.
That's why I called it Let's Talk. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, I feel it. I
um,
feel it.
yeah. So, real quick, real quick, I just want you to share your for my audience. I want you to share your story and who you are. I know you as a comedian, but I want everyone else to hear it from you. And then I got some questions I want to throw at you so we can dialogue real quick, just to help people out
Ah!
for the night.
Ah! Yeah, I mean, I'm a comedian. I'm from North Carolina. I'm based in Los Angeles. I've been doing stand up for almost 13 years. I've toured with some of the funniest people that we have, like in comedy. Today, I've toured with Coco Brown. I've toured with Rodney Perry. I've toured with Talent, um, and shared the stage with multiple people. Dane Cook. Um, the list is extensive because LA, thankfully, you get a lot of exposure to kind of the gamut, right? And it's a small
Yeah.
world. So that's what I do. Um, yeah, that's me.
Yo, you did a stand up and you talked about silent purchases. That was hilarious.
Oh, you know what? I filmed that. So that was at the end of 2018. And I had
Okay.
just been in a really, really, really bad car accident. And when I filmed that, I had cue cards on the stage because I
Oh
couldn't
snap.
remember anything.
Oh
I was having
dang.
like memory issues from the car accident. I had to film actually 3 TV shows within a 2 week span after that car accident. And it was for a web show called Not Your Average Comedy Show, I think is what it was called.
Okay. Okay.
Um, that joke has evolved. Like it started so differently than what it has evolved to today, and it still evolves. Like your jokes always evolve, like as a comedian
Yeah.
your jokes are always building. But that joke, it's so true because the whole premise of it is that I'm a grown-ass woman and I'm embarrassed to buy female products. Like, I'm embarrassed to buy a pregnancy test. And every time you go to buy one, there's somebody in the damn store that you don't want to know that you purchased in the damn test, like that you've been sitting. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
right, right.
it's about that. And like, I grew up in the South, and so growing up in North Carolina, like, I was kind of told, you know, the whole idea of, you know, you stay a virgin till you're married. All of that was very ingrained in how I was brought up.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you know.
yeah. Yo, so listen. So like, so on my podcast is Tuesday nights, True Radio. Like I've been getting a lot of people, especially during COVID, that's been talking about um, like their relationships and their mental health and their stability, their identity. Like a lot of people was um, learning that, oh snap, I can't go to a building to go to work, so I lost my identity, so to speak, things like that. And I'm glad that I brought you on because a lot of people are starting to realize that comedians, they speak the truth even when they're joking. And like I want the intelligence of comedians. I have a few comedian friends. I've actually had on my show TK Kirkland. Um,
Ah, love TK.
yeah, yeah.
T to the
Uh,
motherfucking K.
who raised you?
Right, who raised you?
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
TK, if you watch this, I love you, my friend.
yeah, yeah. So I had TK on my show, and then another friend of mine, Corey Holcomb, I had on
Love
there.
Corey. I just saw
Yeah.
Corey 2 weeks ago. I ran into his ass out here.
Oh, snap, that's what's up. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I met
Corey's
I
great.
met I met Corey through a mutual friend. Zoe Williams is my big bro. I call him my big bro. He's been like my mentor.
Yeah.
And so I met Corey through him. But man, it's just so many people. I want people to realize that comedians have a level of intelligence with them that if you just pay attention to what they say, you can actually learn something. So I
Yeah.
want to talk about relationships. I want to talk about mental health. I want to talk about identity. Um, and you know, I want you to spice it up, make it funny a little bit, but I want people to take your intelligence seriously because I feel like you're a very intelligent person. And
Well, thank you.
yeah, and
I got a little, you know, IQ.
um,
I got a little something up here in this big ass head.
so so you say
But yeah, you're
so
right. You're right when you say comedians and the truth. You know, a real comedian, their jokes are based in truth,
facts,
and
facts.
usually the joke is based in something traumatic or something that evokes really strong emotion, because that's where you can dig in and pull out the most, right?
Okay.
So it's rare that you're gonna find a comedian um, that's just talking bullshit and just, you know, topical,
Yeah.
topical, topical, topical. That's not. I mean, there are comedians that do that, but that's not the comedian I want to be.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's facts. That's facts. So I got 5 questions that my audience wants to ask you.
Oh
That
Lord, already?
yeah, yeah. So I actually told my audience last Tuesday that I was gonna this was gonna be transpiring. So they actually been emailing me questions. So
Yikes. Okay.
so one of the questions is
Pressure.
relate relationship roles. What do you feel about them? Like, have they changed? Has society changed them? Have we changed them? Has COVID changed it in this perspective of what we're living in right now? So talk to relationship roles. Like, is the man supposed to be like the only provider in the home now, or like,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay. I grew up in the South. I grew up with, um, you know, my mother was a stay-at-home mom. You know, when I came home from school, she was always there, and she was like the ultimate homemaker. She sewed, she cooked, she cleaned. I mean, everything that was her full-time job. And my dad
okay,
worked all the time. And I never, she didn't seem happy to me. So when I was growing up, I never wanted that. And not because I think she didn't feel rewarded in that, but I
yeah,
think that it was an expectation more than it was a desire, right?
Got you. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
so now I feel like the roles have definitely changed because with progression and things like that from her day to now, you know what I mean? All of that has shifted. So yeah, there's definitely a shift. I don't think that the man is responsible for everything. I think that's a really selfish view to have
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
relationship these days. And I'll back it up this way because I know there's a lot of ladies that are watching right now that's gonna say that's bullshit. A man should pay for this and da 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 da. I get it. I hear you.
Buy
I
my
disagree.
Birkin
And this is
bag.
why. Yeah, like I don't need that. I'd rather have a man that loves me and takes care of this than takes care of this. You understand?
Yeah,
Because I make
yeah,
money. And
yeah,
not only that, but these days the difference is financial statuses have changed. To be able, if you live in a major city, if you live in Los Angeles, I live in Los Angeles, there are very few situations where both people in the relationship don't have to work. Very
yeah.
few situations. If you're a celebrity, then maybe. But here's the thing: let's say you're a celebrity. Let's say, or even not a celebrity. You're an executive. You make $200,000 a year. Your wife doesn't work. You have 3 kids between the two of you. Your
Mm-hmm.
mortgage is 6,000 and 7,000 and 10,000 a month because the homes here are $1 million minimum.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
facts.
That
Yeah.
200G is out the door before it's in your bank.
Facts, facts.
So for women to have this idea that you shouldn't have to contribute, it's a man's job, it's their role. Okay, then go live in Alabama, Mississippi. Go back, you know what I'm saying? Go back to where women are still wearing fucking aprons from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m.
Right, right, right,
Because,
right,
and I'm
right.
not saying that's all Alabama, Mississippi, so don't be getting all offended, anybody that's
Yeah,
from
yeah,
there.
yeah,
But the intention is the same, right? So I do think relationship roles have shifted. Um, I want a man, as a woman, I want a man that wants to provide. Do
yeah,
I need
yeah,
him to provide? No. I want him to want to provide
yeah,
because I
yeah,
want an ambitious man. I want a man that has goals, that
yeah.
has drive, that's motivated. I want that. Not because I need him to buy me the newest Louis Vuitton. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, right. Yeah, yeah.
So,
But can a man have ambition and the woman not feel neglected because he's chasing his ambitions?
if he finds balance, I think there's
Oh,
balance in everything. And I
yeah,
think that's
yeah,
that's the key word, right? Balance is
yeah.
the key word. I have dated a man for a long time whose ambition is through the roof. And on paper, he is phenomenal. He
Uh-huh.
looks good, he sounds good, educated, got his shit together. But when it came to taking care of this, couldn't do
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
And here's my thing: you can't be in a, to me, you can't be in a good relationship without balance and partnership. And when I say partnership, I want somebody who's going to build me up. Just the same
yeah,
way as I'm gonna look at
yeah.
him and be like, "What you got? What do you want to do?"
Yo, but see, that's what I feel like is a lost art is the woman helping build up her man. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
I feel like that's a
Do you
lost
know
art.
why?
Talk
Because
to me.
because I think the relationship roles have changed. Relationships aren't the same either. Think
Yeah,
about how many men you know that are saying, "I can't wait to commit and get married. I can't wait to put a baby in this girl." Nobody
that's
is saying
facts.
that.
That's facts.
Nobody's like, "Let me get my bitch pregnant." Nobody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Nobody's like that. And so the problem is that we have women who want a relationship and men that don't. And then there's women that think, oh, well, if I just give him what he wants, the milk, the cow, and everything else, eventually he'll commit. But he doesn't commit because there's enough milk in the cow too.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I yeah,
there has
that's
to be
that's
balance
powerful.
in that too. You have to have a balance of what you're going to give a man and what you're going to expect. If you expect A, B, C, and D, but you give everything, they're not going to. And we all have needs, so we end up giving right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
we're mentally jacked because we don't. The women we're like, well, why doesn't he want us? Why doesn't he want to commit? Well, because you didn't give him a reason
Yeah,
to.
yeah. It's one thing I want to say is outside of your beauty and
Lance, you said I like milking cows. I love Lance. You're so funny.
outside of looks and body parts, what other currency do either party bring to the table? And I feel like if all you have is looks and body
Right.
parts as your currency and your spiritual wallet,
You're
you don't
done
have
before you
nothing.
begin.
Yeah,
You're bankrupt. You're
yeah.
bankrupt before you begin.
I feel like today's society also makes it hard for men to be alpha males.
Yes,
Um,
I agree.
and and so it's almost in a sense like the alpha males have to constantly seek approval from their significant other or
Mm-hmm.
from their homeboys or the it's just it's not like it used to be. And I feel like we need to get back to that. And I not to the sense like women gotta cook and clean and be in the kitchen and all that stuff like that. I'm talking about like as far as like the
A
respect we have for one
respect.
another. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
the problem happened when men stopped committing
Hmm.
and women said, okay, well, I have to do what I have to do to take care of home,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So then we become more integrated into the workforce. And this goes back, right? This goes back.
Hmm.
And women, especially all women, women of color, white women,
Yeah,
we hit a
yeah,
glass ceiling under men
yeah, yeah.
constantly,
Yes, yes, I
under
agree.
white men specifically. You know what I
Wow.
mean? And
Yeah,
so it doesn't matter, like my whiteness doesn't matter in a corporate job. I'm still going to hit the same glass ceiling as
yeah,
everybody else because that white man, our country is systemically racist and ran in that way. White
yeah,
man
yeah.
at the
It's
helm.
yeah, they're gonna suppress they're gonna oppress you
Correct.
because you're not
Correct.
one of them. Yeah, yeah,
So what happens in turn is women have developed a lot of strength to confront that. And that gets, I think it does translate into the home. So I think that's why you do have women that are like, what are you going to do for me? Because I've
yeah.
been doing for me. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
need to do
Mm-hmm.
for you too. You know what I mean? And I
It,
think I
it,
think
it,
there's a lot of that vibe. But it comes back down to balance, right?
yeah,
You have
yeah.
to that's where communication comes in, conversation about what you want. Like I just had a date the other night and we were sitting here on this couch and the conversation was literally what in a partner are you wanting? Like how do you balance these things? How do you because as an entertainer, how do you handle this? Are you secure enough? Do you have your own ambition? Because
Yeah.
if they don't, I feel like and maybe you can speak to this. I feel like a strong woman can very easily emasculate a man.
I gotta disagree.
You don't think so?
No, I think a beta male, yeah, but see, for alpha male,
Sure.
a
A man that's
strong
got
wo-
his shit together and has ambition, no,
y-
right?
not just that, but a man who actually understands the reality of how the world works. See, if you're a go getter and you're doing your thing and you have goals and things like that, I feel like um, that the alpha male should be able to support and push you further if you have the momentum at that moment in your relationship.
You would think
Because
so.
yeah, because in all actuality, when it's our turn as a man, we will want the same thing. Like I've always been the type of person to be like, okay, um, if my significant other is doing A, B, and C and is shining at the moment, I'm going to make sure that I make everything else around her comfortable.
Yeah. Well,
You see
I'll
what I'm
tell
saying?
you, you're rare.
Really?
I will tell you that I don't meet a lot of men like that. The ones that I end up dealing with are like that because I won't settle for less than that, me personally.
Yeah, yeah,
Black Guys Collective, he should have the confidence to handle it. Yes, I'm reading some of the comments that are coming through. I agree. A weak man, somebody that doesn't have confidence, somebody that's not. What I find is it's usually the man that's working some random 9 to 5 that he's not passionate about.
yeah. And
That's the one.
yeah, yeah.
Hey, Kite.
I
Sorry.
also think it's the man. No, no, you good. I also think it's the man that is constantly seeking approval.
Yes.
Like
Oh,
you're not.
but that's something to say. Like, why? For me, I don't know. I feel like there's everything is balance. It always goes back to balance because
Yeah,
there's gonna
yeah,
be a day and time. If I get pregnant, I'm not gonna be on tour. I might be on tour at the beginning of my pregnancy, but there's going to be a period of time where I'm saying I don't want to be on tour and I need you to step up and be the provider. I don't really
yeah,
care what you making. Just make sure our roof stays over our head.
yeah,
And
yeah,
there's going to be a time where my man is probably going to say, "Hey, I want to make a shift." And I need to be able to say, "Okay, how do we do this?" But
yeah,
I think a lot of times what happens in relationships now is uh, there's a lack of commitment, and when there is commitment, the commitment isn't followed with all these tough conversations of, hey, what do we do when we have to make a shift? What do we
that,
do? What are we
yeah,
going to do if I'm pregnant and I got a $2 million tour? Because I'm not turning
yeah,
down that 2 million. So are
yeah.
you willing to come with me?
I'll be on the bus,
Right.
the plane, or whatever. I'll be bringing you water, wiping the face off. You sweating? I'm over here with the towel like this. I'm
Right.
doing all that. Listen, you want a cup of coffee? You want
Right.
chicken wings?
Because here's my thing, and the same is true. The same is true in the other realm. My ex, the guy that my most recent relationship, very successful man, wants to move to New York, and we had to have that conversation of, can you move with me? How do we build? And what I realized is he was just too selfish. He didn't give a damn about any of my ambition. He just wanted me to build up his ambition and suck my energy dry with what he
Yeah,
could take from me, because I don't just do comedy. I also have a background in editing and production and TV, and that's what I did before I
yeah,
ever was a comedian, and radio.
yeah, yeah.
So those things he
See,
wanted to strip them. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I find that happens a lot where you might be equally yoked, but somebody wants to take, and it's not give and take. And give and take is so important in a relationship. I'll date a fucking
yes.
dump truck driver. I don't give a fuck as long as there's give and take, communication, and support.
See, you remember the movie Troy, right? With Brad
Yes.
Pitt and all that. Yo, I'm that type of person. Like if 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 you're doing something and I can learn a skill set that adds on to what you're doing. For example, like you're a comedian, you do your thing, you're on the road, whatever. If editing
Well, not
videos
now.
and
COVID.
yeah, if editing videos and building content around what you're producing is an add-on to your success, that's what I'm going to learn and that's what I'm going to do,
Right.
and I think a lot of men feel like that's taken a secondary role in the home, and I feel like we need to reevaluate that stuff. Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's what's beneficial for the couple,
Right. It
and
becomes family unit. And you just
yeah,
hit the nail on the head. There's a lack of thought about family unit and team. And for me,
yes,
there's a
yes,
reason I don't have children yet. There's a reason I'm not married yet. I'm 37 years old. I have been proposed to. I have had opportunities to have children and to be married, and I have not done that. Why? Because for me, that team aspect wasn't there. Whoever I marry is going to be my best friend, my teammate, my ride or die, and we're doing everything together. You know what I'm saying? We
yeah,
are building an
yeah,
empire together,
yeah,
because I don't want a man that stifles my ambition, and I don't want to stifle a man's ambition. I want my man to
yeah,
come to me and say, "Hey, I have this goal. How can we make it happen?" And that was literally the conversation I just had 2 nights ago. And I
yeah,
loved it. Was such an attractive quality in this man, because I'm listening to him and I'm like, okay, how do we, and we're already having how do we work together? How do we do this? How do we do that? Oh, I
mm-hmm,
know this person that can help you. Oh, I know, you know what I'm saying? And you have to build in that way. If that's
yeah,
not, now listen, not everybody is built like me. Do you know what I'm saying? And does what I do. Like there are plenty of women that want to be at home with their kids And that's all they've ever wanted to do. My best friend, one of my best friends, is that kind of person. She's always wanted to be a homemaker, to raise her children. And there is nothing wrong with that at
Yeah.
all, because that is the hardest job in the world.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
me, I need more. And
Yeah.
so I think that communication, and then if you go back to traditional standards, not having that communication with your mate prior to getting married, now the man thinks, oh, okay, well, she's going to sit back and be a homemaker because maybe he grew up in a place where that's what it was. And there's
Yeah.
no talk about it. So, then you have disconnect from jump.
And I feel like a lot of times um people don't look at what the spiritually and emotionally, what do you bring to the table to
Right.
add on to what that person already has. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like this with COVID-19 kind of like shut the whole world down for everyone to evaluate themselves and be like, okay, what do I really have in life? What do I really possess in my soul? Am I worth giving myself to another person, or do I need to take a step back and pick myself back up and become the person I want to be to pursue someone else?
Right.
Like, there's a lot of people, especially in my local area, it's like they're looking for a wife or they're looking for or a husband or whatever, and I'm sitting there like you need to really take some self evaluation and understand like I give you an example. I'm not gonna say no names, but there was a
But
guy.
the question is what do I bring to the table? What is my,
Yes, yes,
what is my, how do I put this? What is my net worth
yeah,
holistically?
yeah, yeah,
What is my net
yeah,
worth holistically? What do I bring to
yeah,
the table? If you don't know your damn net worth, then everybody's going to take you for everything they can see in you, because
yes,
everybody around you sees your net worth. You know that, right?
yes, yes,
Like,
yes,
everybody around me sees that. Or if you're smart, you move in ways where they don't see your net worth, and then it hits them right in the face. Because
yeah,
sometimes I think God will put you in a room and surround you with everybody that you need to know, and they won't know who you are, but he'll put you in that room so that you can see the way the snakes move.
yes. That's all, man. Listen, that's yo. So 2019, 2018, 2019 was two of the roughest years of my life. Literally, like I've had betrayal after betrayal after betrayal, and I realized I'm a bigger self evaluator. So I'm like, okay, what did I do wrong? Well, how can I fix it? Like whatever. Like what are the flaws in me? And when I realized it's the other person, and I think and the reason why I bring this up is because I think sometimes people are constantly pointing the finger at other people, but at the same time, they're always saying it's them. So, like, how can we bring a balance about how to evaluate the betrayals and the trust issues we have in life when you get betrayed by someone or you have a falling out with someone? How can explain to me your perspective? How can that balance happen if you can evaluate yourself to say, was I a toxic person or was this person just tripping? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
should I
100%.
just smack this person or
Right.
should I smack myself? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna knock this motherfucker
I'm a former
out.
boxer. I'm a former boxer. So my first thought process is I want to punch this person in the mouth, but I
Yeah.
can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So like yeah, but just talk to me. Yeah.
I mean, I think you have to start at self. I think you do have to say, what's my accountability in this,
Yeah.
if any?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and if you do something that you can't grasp why somebody would, like, okay, like, I'll give you an example. I offended somebody.
Okay.
Uh uh
Whoa,
I'm not
time
gonna
out.
go into the detail. I'm not gonna go
Is
deep
this a
into the details
female?
because yeah, yeah,
Is
but
this a female telling us
I'm
she's
not gonna go into
toxic?
the details because it'll turn the conversation a whole nother direction.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Um,
yeah. Go, yeah, yeah.
but the sentiment was, I disagreed with a statement, right?
Okay.
That person felt I had no right to say anything. Now, they got pissed, it got heated, we got in a fight, verbal fight. Nobody called each other out their name or anything like that. But I walked away from the conversation like shaken up, like feeling like that knots in your throat, and you know what I'm saying, like all the way down into your
Yeah.
chest, where you're just like, what
Yeah.
the hell just happened, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I had to say, what did I do wrong? And the truth was, is I didn't do anything wrong. That person just didn't want to hear what I had to say. And
Facts.
so I had to evaluate. I had to ask a friend. I had to ask another friend that would have had the same perspective as this person that was offended. I had these very blunt, blatant conversations that were not easy to have, to get more understanding about why somebody would have felt the way that they felt about my
Right.
disagreement.
Right. 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 Right.
Um, and at the end of it, I still felt sick about it because there was nothing I could do to change the circumstance
Right.
of what this person's viewpoint was, right? Which
Right.
is
Right.
fine, because we can't always change it.
Facts.
But I think you have to examine self. I think that you have to get perspective. And then I think you have to say, okay, well, there's things that I can change and there's things that I can't change. In the future, if I'm ever in this particular type of situation again, my opinion is unwarranted. And I just
Yeah.
need to be okay with that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because you don't
Yeah.
always have to say what you think. You know what I mean? I'm the
Right.
type of
Right.
person, I always say what I think. So to tell me shut the fuck up is not an easy pill for me to swallow. Okay? So there was even though I didn't do anything wrong per
Yeah.
se, the idea of shut up and listen is something that I said, okay, that I could work on that. Sure. I could absolutely work on that. But then I also had to be real with myself and say, this is this person's internal struggle. This is this
Yeah.
person's internal
Yeah.
issue. And they're
Yeah.
dealing with demons and things that I don't even see and have nothing to do with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I can still feel a way about it. But I'll tell you, in those circumstances, it will shift your perspective if you're not careful about a total idea. And so I think that when you're dealing with arguments and things like that, or disagreements, confrontations, whatever, aggressions, that you have to have perspective. And you have to
Yeah.
say, okay, who am I at the core? What do I believe in? What are my values? Do I present that to the people around me? Is that what they feel from me? Now, if 40 people are telling me the same thing that this bitch said, then I got a different issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if she just wanted to
Because the
take it out
common
of pocket,
denominator is you. Yeah. Yeah.
right, you just wanted to take this one situation out of pocket. Well, I know these 40 people know my soul and know that this is not ever what I meant.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So, all right. So, lastly, I want to say this. Um, since COVID-19, everyone's want to network with people. Um, everyone's want to be content creators, and they have a nice little spurt, and then they just die off. Like for example, like I've been doing radio, or what they call now podcasts. I've been doing this since like 2012,
yeah,
right? I stopped in 2017 and then I relaunched in 2020
yeah.
earlier this year. So like for me, I've had a consistency. But like nowadays, like people just they pop up and then they go away.
Yeah.
And as someone who's a comedian and someone who has to create content, how do you feel about the newbies, the novices that just popped up?
I mean, I'm one
And
of them. I'm one of them in the internet space. I grew up in comedy with veterans telling me just get funny on stage.
okay,
Stay on
okay,
stage, stay on stage. So my investment in social media wasn't there the way it
right.
should have been.
But hold up,
Because
but you had if I can say it in this term, you had grassroots works, right?
what do you mean?
Like you've done without broadcasting yourself on social media a lot, you've already had some groundwork.
Groundwork in what regard? Like to get on shows, you mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah, I mean because I network, right? So
yeah,
it's different. But when we say newbies, I'm assuming you mean in this format with COVID and everything. So I didn't put a lot of focus and emphasis on social media and podcasting and show creation the way I should have, because I was just focused on getting funny. Because my whole
got you.
idea was, if I'm not funny, and I get this opportunity and that yields a tour and I can't do an hour, I'm screwed. Right?
Yes.
So I always
Yes.
said, I kept pushing things to the back burner. Oh, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. I'll do it later. Last year in 2018 were prime examples. I had a lot going on comedy wise. I was on the road a lot. And I kept saying, I'm going to finish my book. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to finish my book. I'm going to finish the script. I'm going to finish blah, 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 whatever projects I had.
Hmm.
And the truth is that when you're exhausted because you get up to do media, you're hyped up about the show, and when you're not the headliner, if I'm touring with a headliner, I am in my head all day like, all right, what am I going to bring on stage tonight? Like, how am I going to make this joke better? Because it's growth, right? And people are paying attention. What's up, Sauce? Very funny comedian just jumped in here. So the time wasn't there, right? I kept saying, oh, I'm going to do it, but then I'd get back to the room and I'd be evaluating a set. So COVID for me slowed me down in that regard, where I said, okay, let me invest in these things. Hi, Onika. Let me invest in these things that I want to do, these projects that I have that I want to build. And then on top of that, it's provided the opportunity for me to say, okay, all these things that I didn't put emphasis on before, I got to do it now. I got to put
Yeah.
emphasis on the
Yeah.
social media because
Yeah.
it's just different. Comedy has shifted, right? Like stand-up comedy is not the same anymore. It's just not. It's
Yeah.
shifted. It's on the internet. It's in social media. It's the sketches. It's, these quick bites of funny. And I was always like, oh, well, if I can stay on tour, that's bread and butter. And that's because of how I was raised in comedy, right? So I
Right.
didn't put
Right.
emphasis on it. So how do I feel about newbies? Go for it. Teach me a thing or two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Teach me
Yeah.
a thing or two because I'll tell you, I'm looking for it. Like, I'm getting ready to launch my new show at the beginning of the year. And
Okay.
I can't tell you how many conversations I've had over the last month where I have just gotten little bits and pieces of knowledge and nuggets of how to do it and how to, even things down to the timing and how you post it and when you post it and the incrementals of it. And, if you don't know, you don't know, right?
Yeah.
So I don't
Yeah.
hate on the new on newbies. I don't hate on comedians who have blown up in social media because they have mastered a part of the art form that I haven't mastered yet. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
in stand-up, they say there's muscles, right? So if you host a show, it's a completely different muscle. That might be your bicep. That might be this baby right here.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
headline, that's them shoulders, those traps. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to, yeah. And if you the middleman, you might be working on these little what are these called? These little,
Triceps.
yeah, triceps. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a different muscle. So you can build all your muscles. I've built my muscles on stage, and now I'm trying to build my muscles in this realm.
In the social
So
media. Yeah. No,
yeah.
I feel you. I feel you on that because I never was really good at promoting the stuff that I do. I'm good at promoting other people, but I've never been good at promoting myself. And this year, I've started to do that a little bit. And it still feels weird, but I feel like I understand that it's necessary, especially for my brand and the content that I
I would
present.
disagree with you. You had almost 300 people in here for the first half hour of this.
Yeah, but it's just hard for me to promote myself.
Yeah.
Um, but I have to get past that mentally,
Yeah.
and realize that I'm not like I'm promoting what I'm actually doing, not
Yeah.
I'm not making stuff up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's my biggest stumbling block. Is like I got to get past. Okay, if I'm helping the community or I'm giving out food or I'm helping elderly people or whatever, it's okay to express to the internet that that's what I do.
Yeah.
And I had to get past that this year. Literally, I said, okay, I'm gonna build a website. I'm gonna do these things, and
Is there a cash app that people can donate to your cause? Because that's so cool. I didn't even know you did this.
yeah. So the what I'll do is I'll message you the organization.
You
That
should
way,
post it when you repost this on your story and stuff.
okay, I will. I will. I appreciate that advice, and I'm going to accept it and do it. I definitely will. I'm gonna post this video on my podcast, on my website, and all that, and then even on social medias, and I'll put the link to be able to give and donate and stuff like that to the
Yeah.
food drives and things like that that I have going on. And if people want to see what I'm doing, I'll let them have access to me I'm at Mr. Randychoo. But anyway, listen, I went over time. I'm sorry.
You're all right. You're good. You're good. You're all good. No big
um,
deal.
um, as both of us are content creators and very, very busy in our schedule, I respect your time. And I want to say thank you. I hope this isn't the last time we do a Let's Talk.
No, we can do it anytime you want.
Yeah, yeah, I love it, and I want the audience to definitely keep asking questions and things. I'm going to tell my fan base to ask questions while we're live and not send them
Yeah. Did we
beforehand.
get to the question? Did we get through all the questions?
So we got to two of them. That
I
was
know.
it.
What were that? Give me the other three. I'll spout them out quick.
Okay.
Uh-oh. You had, uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, there you're back.
what? Okay. So we did the what's your story? We did the seeking approval. We did the relationship roles. So okay, so I'll leave you with this. The last question. What has life what has life and previous relationships taught you?
Man, your audience gets deep. They're like, we don't care that she's a comedian. We want to know what's in her soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all trying
Yeah,
to
that's
snatch
facts.
it. Y'all just snatching souls in this place. Larry Green comedy in the room. What's up, Larry Green? So wait, ask me that one more time. Sorry, that was a lot.
They said, what has you okay, listen, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna read it, but I don't want you to answer it tonight. I want to save it for the next time we have the conversation. But I'm gonna read the question one more time.
All right, go.
It says, what has life and previous relationships taught you about you?
I have no patience.
Wow. Wow.
I have no patience. This is probably my biggest fault.
Okay. Okay.
But it's
Oh,
also my
snap.
biggest motivator.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
They
But
do say
I struggle with patience.
that your biggest strength is also your biggest weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I've heard that.
Lack of patience helps when it comes to everything to do with drive and stand up and motivation and all of that because my patient it's a lack of like I want to stay here. I want to keep, I want to keep going. But in a relationship, that's not good.
Yeah, yeah.
In
Have
a
some
relationship, you gotta pump
patience.
the brakes a little bit. You gotta be
Pump
like,
them
chill.
down. Yeah, chill out, chill out.
You gotta be like, slow down, baby.
Oh, snap. Well, listen, I appreciate the conversation.
Yeah.
Um, no, I really appreciate you taking time out your schedule and
Thank you
coming
for being
on.
patient because I know we've been trying to do this for what 3 weeks now.
Uh,
I think
yeah,
it's been about 3 weeks, and I
yeah,
appreciate you because when you asked me to do this, I was right in the middle of getting my house together in regards to this show,
yeah,
and between everything that was going on, like I don't know how I found time to do that Zoom in with the homies because that's a 2-hour show,
yeah,
and
yeah,
and and I appreciate your patience and I appreciate this space because I think that you know, people always want you to be funny and there's more to me than just funny. I mean, I'm funny, but
yeah, yeah,
but I'm a human too.
yeah, yeah. And I'm glad you said that because that's what I want. I want my audience, even the ones that's going to go back and watch this. That's what I want them to see is that you have the whole package. Um, and so yeah, I'm glad. I'm honored. I appreciate it.
Aw.
Tell everyone where they can find you at before we end the broadcast.
Absolutely. Everything's at Amber Brashear. So
Okay.
AMBERBRASHEAR. Facebook, though, you got to put it in like Nancy in the middle of that shit because I know you like that. Like Nancy, the whitest shit ever. Because so you know how you have like your Facebook page, it was like you get your 5,000 people or whatever, and then you had
Hmm.
to get a page. Well, my Facebook 5,000 is full and it won't let me merge the two. So I can't add you unless you do Amber in Brashear. So that's the only
Got
one
you.
that's different. But everything else is Amber Brashear. And I'm going to warn y'all, if y'all go to my YouTube right now, you're going to see some ratchet old bad comedy because I can't put up the new comedy because that's how I make my money. So
Yeah.
so don't go to YouTube and be like, let me see if this girl's funny, because the answer will be she's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's like 3-4 years in. I gotta
Oh
get
snap.
13 now. So
Build that website.
I have it. Oh, www.amberbrashear.com.
And boom, 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 boom. That's what
Boom, boom,
I'm
boom.
talking
Everything is
about.
Amber Brashear. If you type my name in, you will find everything. Amber Brashear. And
Cool.
follow me. I follow back. I talk back. It's always funny to me when people add me and then they'll direct message me and I'll reply and they'll be like, oh shit, she replied. And I'm like, I'm a person. Like, yes,
Yeah.
I replied.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just don't come at me with some, so when can I get it?
Yeah. Yeah.
When
Fellas,
can I slide through the DM?
listen, fellas. You gotta have some patience. Okay?
Call back. Message.
No. No, but
Message.
I appreciate it. Look, we'll let the audience know when we schedule the next one.
Cool.
Um, but I'm definitely gonna on my podcast on Tuesdays and stuff. I'm definitely gonna promote your website and everything that you have.
Cool.
So yeah, I appreciate it. Much love and respect. Until next time,
Thank
blessings.
you.
Yeah.
Ba-ba-ba-bow. I think you have